Dear students, in lifestyle diseases and prevention subject, today we will learn a new topic, cervical cancer. Already we have discussed what are cancer and what are all the basic properties of cancer cell and how can we differentiate a normal cell from the cancer cell and even the different types of cancer cells, in which cervical cancer is a type of cancer. Today we will discuss the cervical cancer, the basic properties, the diagnostic procedure, treatment option, surgical procedures, preventive measures, etc. Okay, right. Cervical cancer is a type of cancer that occurs in the cells of the cervix, the lower part of the uterus that connects to the vagina. Various strains of the human papilloma virus, a sexually transmitted infection, play a role in causing most cervical cancer types. When exposed to human papilloma virus, the body's immune system typically prevents the virus from doing harm. In a small percentage of people, the virus survives for years, contributing to the process that cause some cervical cancer cells to become cancer cells. You can reduce the risk of cancer development by having screening tests and receiving a vaccine that protects against HPV infection, that is human papilloma virus infection. The female reproductive system. Early stage cervical cancer generally produces no signs or symptoms. The general signs and symptoms of more advanced cervical cancer includes vaginal bleeding after intercourse, between periods or after menopause, watery, bloody vaginal discharge that may be heavy and have a foul odor, pelvic pain or pain during intercourse. When do we need to consult a doctor? Where cervical cancer begins. Cervical cancer begins when healthy cells in the cervix develops changes, that is mutations in their DNA. A cell's DNA contains the instructions that tell a cell what to do. Healthy cells grow and multiply at a set rate, eventually dying at a set time. The mutations tell the cells to grow and multiply out of control and they don't die. The accumulating abnormal cells form a mass that is called tumor. Cancer cells invade nearby tissues, can break off from a tumor to spread, metastasize elsewhere in the body. It isn't clear what causes cervical cancer, but it isn't certain that human papilloma virus plays a role. Human papilloma virus is very common and most people with the virus never develop cancer. This means other factors such as the environmental or lifestyle choices also determine whether you will be developing the cervical cancer or not. Types of cervical cancer. The types of cervical cancer that you have helps to determine your prognosis and treatment procedure. The main types of cervical cancer are squamous cell carcinoma. This type of cervical cancer begins in the thin, flat cells, that is called squamous cells, lining the outer part of the cervix, which projects into the vagina. Most cervical cancers are squamous cell carcinomas. Adenocarcinoma. This type of cervical cancer begins in the column-shaped glandular cells that line the cervical canal. Sometimes both types of cells are having involved in cervical cancer. Very rarely, cancer occurs in other cells of the cancer. Now we will discuss the major risk factors for cervical cancer. That includes many sexual partners. The greater your number of sexual partners and the greater your partner number, the greater your chance of acquiring human papillomavirus infection, which leads to cervical cancer. Early sexual activity, that is intercourse at an early age, increases the risk of HPV infection. Other sexually transmitted infections, that is STIs. Having other STIs such as chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis, and HIV increases the risk of HPV infection. A weakened immune system, it may also be likely to develop cervical cancer if the immune system is weakened by another health condition, and you might have the HPV infection. Smoking is associated with the squamous cell cervical cancer. Exposure to miscarriage prevention drug. If the mother took a drug called diethyl stilbestrol, that is DES, while pregnant in the 1950s, they may have an increased risk of a certain type of cervical cancer called clear cell adenocarcinoma. What are all the major preventive procedures that are optionally available to manage cervical cancer? To reduce the risk of cervical cancer, first we should discuss with the doctor about the HPV vaccine. Receiving a vaccine to prevent human papilloma virus infection may reduce the risk of cervical cancer and other human papilloma virus related cancers. Have routine Pap tests. Pap tests can detect precancerous conditions of the cervix, so they can be monitored or treated in order to prevent cervical cancer. Most medical organizations suggest beginning routine Pap tests at age 21 and repeating them every few years. Practice safe sex. Reduce the risk of cervical cancer by taking measures to prevent sexually transmitted infections. Don't smoke. If you avoid smoking, the doctor may screen you for the possibility to overcome the issue of cervical cancer. Diagnosis. We will discuss the major diagnostic procedures available for the cervical cancer. Screening. Pap test. Screening test can help to detect cervical cancer and precancerous cells that may develop into cervical cancer. Most guidelines suggest beginning screening for cervical cancer and precancerous changes at age 21. The screening tests include Pap test. During a Pap test, the doctor scrapes and brushes cells from your cervix, which are then examined in a lab for abnormality observation. A Pap test can be detect normal cells in the cervix, including cancer cells and cells that show changes that increase the risk of cervical cancer. HPV DNA test. The HPV DNA test involves testing cells collected from the cervix for infection with any of the types of HPV that are most likely to lead to cervical cancer. Diagnostic procedure. If cervical cancer is suspected, the doctor is likely to start with a thorough examination of the cervix. A special magnifying instrument called colposcope is used to check for abnormal cells. During the colposcope examination, the doctor is likely to take a sample of cervical cells called a biopsy for laboratory testing. To obtain tissue, the doctor may use punch biopsy, which involves using a sharp tool to pinch of small samples of cervical tissue. Endocervical curettage, which uses a small spoon-shaped instrument called curette or a thin brush to scrap a tissue sample from the cervix. If the punch biopsy or endocervical curettage is worrisome, the doctor may perform one of the following tests. Electrical wire loop, which uses a thin, low voltage electrified wire to obtain a small tissue sample. Generally, this is done under local anesthesia in the medical hospital. Cone biopsy, that is conization, which is a procedure that allows the doctor to obtain deeper layers of the cervical cells for laboratory testing. A cone biopsy may be done in the hospital under general anesthesia. Different stagings. If the doctor examines that you have cervical cancer, you will have further tests to determine the extent of your cancer. Your cancer stage is a key factor in deciding the treatment procedure. Staging exams include imaging tests. Tests such as X-ray, CT, MRI, and positron emission tomography help the doctor to determine whether your cancer has spread beyond your cervix. Visual examination of the bladder and rectum. The doctor may use special scopes to see inside your bladder and rectum. Treatment procedures. What are all the major treatment procedures and preventive measures have been characterized in order to manage cervical cancer? We'll discuss here. Treatment for cervical cancer is purely depends on several factors such as the stage of the cancer, other health problems you may have, and your preferences. Surgery, radiation, chemotherapy, or a combination of the three may be used by the doctor. Surgery. Early stage cervical cancer is typically treated with surgery practices. Which operation is best for you will depend on the size of your cancer, its stage, and whether you would like to consider becoming pregnant in the future. Options might include surgery to cut away the cancer only. For a very small cervical cancer, it might be possible to remove the cancer entirely with the cone biopsy. This procedure involves cutting away a cone-shaped piece of cervical tissue, but leaving the rest of the cervical intact. This option may take it possible for you to consider becoming pregnant in the future. Surgery to remove the cervix, that is called trachelectomy. Early stage cervical cancer might be treated with a radical trachelectomy procedure which removes the cervix and some surrounding tissue. The uterus remains after this procedure, so it may be possible to become if you choose this option. Surgery to remove the cervix and uterus, that is called hysterectomy. Most early stage cervical cancers are treated with a radical hysterectomy operation which involves removing the cervix, uterus, part of the vagina, and nearby lymph nodes. A hysterectomy can cure early stage cervical cancer and prevent its recurrence. But removing the uterus makes it impossible to become pregnant. Minimal invasive hysterectomy, which involves making several small incisions in the abdomen rather than one large incision, may be an option for early stage cervical cancer. People who undergo minimally invasive surgery tend to recover more quickly and spend less time in the hospital. But some research has found minimally invasive hysterectomy may be less effective than traditional hysterectomy. If you are considering minimally invasive surgery, discuss the benefits and the risk of the approach with the surgeon. Radiation therapy. Radiation therapy uses high-powered energy beams such as X-ray or protons to kill the cancer cells. Radiation therapy is often combined with chemotherapy as the primary treatment for locally advanced cervical cancer. It can also be used after surgery if there is an increased risk that the cancer will come back. Radiation therapy can be given externally by directing a radiation beam at the affected area of the body. The radiation therapy can be given internally by placing a device filled with radioactive materials inside the vagina, usually for only a few minutes, that is called brachytherapy, both externally and internally. If you haven't started menopause yet, radiation therapy might cause menopause. If you might want to consider becoming pregnant after radiation treatment, ask the doctor about the ways to preserve the eggs before treatment starts. Chemotherapy. Chemotherapy is a drug treatment that uses chemicals to kill the cancer cells. It can be given through a vein or taken in pill form. Sometimes both methods are also used. For locally advanced cervical cancer, low doses of chemotherapy are often combined with radiation therapy, since chemotherapy may enhance the effects of the radiation. Higher doses of chemotherapy might be recommended to help control symptoms of very advanced cancer. Targeted therapy. Targeted drug treatment focus on specific weaknesses present within cancer cells. By blocking these weaknesses, targeted drug treatments can cause cancer cells to die. Targeted drug therapy is usually combined with chemotherapy. It might be an option for advanced cervical cancer. Immunotherapy. Immunotherapy is a drug treatment that helps your immune system to fight against cancer. Your body's disease-fighting immune system might not attack cancer because the cancer cells produce proteins that make them undetectable by the immune system cells. Immunotherapy works by interfering with that process. For cervical cancer, immunotherapy might be considered when the cancer is advanced and other treatments aren't working. Supportive care, that is palliative care. Palliative care is a specialized medical care that focuses on providing relief from pain and other symptoms of a serious illness. Palliative care specialists work with you for your family, and you are the doctors to provide an extra layer out for the support. So, students, so far we have discussed somewhat the detailed information about the cervical cancer, how it is being happening, that is the basic pathogenicity of cervical cancer in the human body. What are the diagnostic procedures available? What are the surgery procedures available to treat the disease? Preventive measures, chemotherapeutic choice, and lifestyle management practices. So you just prepare according to this flow for your university examination and refer the material what I have given to you already. We will discuss a new topic in the next class. Thank you so much.